welcome to the kitchen. Today I'm going to be canning tomatoes. Let me flip the phone around. You can see all these tomatoes I have. This is honestly just a week of tomatoes. There's some of my neighbor's garden and some of ours. And so I'm going to be canning those today. I have a couple of special equipment items that you need. This is my canner. This was actually my mom's. And so I use it every summer. For the lid that goes on top. And then I have this great book that was my mom's too, called Home Preserving. So I'm going to be using that. And I also have some new cans that I got. So these will show you again. You can use any container, but you want to be able to immerse the entire glass jar in the container so the water will cover it. So these are pretty tall, so that's why this is so large. And you see on the bottom there is a little place for things to kind of stand up. So which tomatoes do you choose? You want to choose tomatoes that are heavy, that are disease-free. So you see these are good ones. I've got one here that looks like it would be good, but then there's a little place, a little disease place, so you can't use him. All right, so now I'm getting the jars ready. So I put some water in there just so they'll not float, or they'll kind of go to the bottom of the canner. And we're going to basically clean the jars with some hot water, not at boiling, at a simmer. Okay, so you can see they're all in there. And I'm also going to do the same thing with the lids, and just kind of gets the microorganisms off, on the outside and on the inside. And so we'll simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, so these are the tomatoes I'm going to use for the first batch. So I'm going to take the bottom of the tomato, the opposite of the stem, and I'm going to put a little X there, like that. Okay, so now it is time to put the tomatoes in boiling water. So I have a big pot of boiling water right here. And so this is going to be our first batch. They're only going to go in there for about 60 seconds. So it's just to blanch the tomatoes. So because we're going to take the skin off of them. So that's the first step here. Putting the tomatoes in the water. All right, 60 seconds. We'll put a timer. Okay, I've moved areas. You can see the skin starting to come off the tomatoes. And now I'm going to put them in some cold water. A little cold water bath. Plop those guys in there. All right, and then we're going to slip the skins right off these guys. All right, so this next step is called the acidification process. So we're gonna add lemon juice. This is just lemon juice I bought at Kroger. And so we're gonna add 2 tablespoons to each jar. All right, so now we're gonna pack the tomatoes. When you're working with different tools, you wanna make sure you're keeping them clean in the hot water. Just think of it as you're sterilizing your baby bottles. And so we've got the tomatoes here, and they're ready. And I'm gonna put them in the jars with the lemon juice. It looks about 3 will fit in each jar. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna fill each container with hot water to the very top. Okay, so this is the first lid. I'm gonna place him on top. Making sure I don't really touch anything. There we go. All right, so then I've got the lid. I'm placing the lid on, and you want to, it's hot. You want to screw the lid until you meet resistance, and then at least one more time, tighten. And now it's ready to go back into our canner jars. You can see they look amazing. I have the 6 jars in here in the canner, and I'm going to boil them for about 40 minutes.